Good evening. My name is Bill Ferrollo. I'm here representing Richard Bononi. To my left, the discussion tonight about 3-5 Quincy Court. Familiar with it because it's been here before, a different design proposal. Rich purchased the building recently. His family, his dad is sitting here at the middle table, owned Ricardo's Restaurant, which is the building directly abutting this on the North Street side. Quincy Court is a rather small walkway that runs between the Ricardo's Restaurant and 187, 189 North Street. When you walk in, there are two buildings that join together that are two three-family buildings that are in the process of being renovated. What we're going to do, you have on those sets of plans, the first several pages are existing conditions, and then when you get beyond the existing conditions, you'll see the proposed conditions, and that's what we have on the board. And we're going to show these closer to Marie Cimboli because she can never see those little plans. We brought the big ones.
Make them small.
We brought the big ones. So what we have is it's a three-story building. Excuse me. As mentioned, occupied in the past as 3 and 3. We're joining it as a singular building. It's the same configuration, but what we call the files at ISD will be combined as a 6-unit building. We are not increasing the number of units to draw the distinction between last time this proposal came forward. I'm going to try to show you what we've done in response to what were concerns with budding property, and one of which was how many units were in the building. So we've not increased the number of units. We're keeping it at 3 per or a total of 6. We are only adding 2 bedrooms in the proposed work. The proposed work, as I go through this, will be to add living space in the basement area, duplex with the first floor, and adding a partial floor on top of the 3-story building. And in that partial floor, there will be a bedroom in each side. So the only changes we're making in terms of number of bedrooms is to add 2 rather than increasing them in the other spaces. So as we go through the units, this is the basement area of the building. Currently now it's sort of a typical basement that has utilities, etc. We've reconfigured it so that the common utility areas are marked there as the mechanical rooms, and then the area behind each of those is duplex to the first floor as a family room. These rooms, although in the basement, when they go towards the back of the building, have full exposure for windows and door leading onto another sort of walkway courtyard in the back. So these are submerged, as they would look to be partially submerged when you come in through Quincy Court in the back. They're actually at full height out to the back. So these family rooms are then connected to the first floor units, which are here. The first floor units are designed as 2 bedrooms, so these units, these duplex units will contain 2 bedrooms each. We have put a second bathroom and laundry in the basement to go with the family room. And as we're saying, is that it didn't change the 2-bedroom configuration that was on the first floor before, simply adding the additional space. As mentioned, it's a family room, bath, and laundry. When you go to the second floor, compare that to the first, we left the configuration basically the same. Each side has a 2-bedroom, floor-through, single-floor level. So these are your bedrooms, and you can see from the layout, they're not large, but it's one of the reasons why we were looking to use the basement space for additional living space and do something with the roof. So this second floor looks similar to your third floor, but your third floor now is going to be duplex with what we're proposing on the upper floor. On third floor, you have 2 bedrooms again, but what happens is when you look at our proposed addition here on the 4th floor, we had a living room and a 3rd bedroom for these units. So those are the 2 additional bedrooms that I referred to earlier as being added to the building. As far as the issue of density, etc., we are trying to limit the number of bedrooms because that was a concern in the last proposal that there were more units and more bedrooms. We think again, because of the floor plate of the units, giving people some additional space like this, we add a bedroom and some more living space, as well as another bathroom, is a logical use. So the items that we would show you, first I'm going to show it to you this way, and then we'll show you the actual building is, what you're going to see is that we have set this back 14 feet from the face of the building. In other words, the face of the building here is in the walkway with 187, 189 Knott Street on the other side of the walkway. So one of the early issues in the prior proposal was the proximity between this building's addition and the building at 187. So we've set this back first 14 feet. Second is when you see our drawings of the roof, there are no windows on this side of the building, so there's no issue of looking over from our building over to the other building in that narrow area.
So just to clarify, that's directly resulting in concerns that the buildings were so close that having the windows at both bedrooms.
People raised in that first proposal that because you have a situation here where there are spots, I'll show you. There are places where buildings are separated by maybe 3 to 4 feet only because of the way it lays out. Let you pass this over now. I'll show you this first. This is the 187, 189 building. This is the building we're talking about in the court. So if you look at the yellow, I'm sorry, folks, it's just the one, we'll pass it around afterwards. If you look at this, because the building jogs different ways, so at some of these points, you're very close to the building. Across from you, some of the points you're further away. So I think it's a combination of distances from, well, 3 or 4 feet to maybe 8 or 9 feet in terms of the separation, plus the 14 feet that we have set this back to try to keep it away from those windows of those buildings. We also, lastly, you see a roof plan. What we did on the roof plan is we put our condensers on the top of the addition and not on the lower level of that 14 feet that we're setting back so that they wouldn't be either in the view line or in an area where you'd be able to hear them. These newer condensers that they're putting in now, especially in the building that's recently done, are pretty quiet to begin with, but we've located them on the top as opposed to here. What you see here are skylights. This area on the lower floor will not be occupied in any sense. There's no decking, etc. So I'm going to show you, and I apologize for the people on this side, but we're going to walk you through what the building looks like in terms of the view. What this shows you is, this is if you walk into Quincy Court. So the existing building is here, so you see the basement has partial exposure here, but as I said, full exposure on the back. So these buildings are identical one to the other, and as a singular. When you're looking from the abutting building at 187 of the building across the walkway, what you will see is a full copper roof, no windows facing that side. This is also the enclosed area for the condensers, so you don't even see the condensers, they're enclosed by this. What we're looking at here is, this shows on your plan, but since doing the plan, we've actually lowered it by 2 feet. It shows that the top of the building would be 47 feet and 2 inches. That would be 2 feet lower, because we were able to lower the floor line behind what they call the parapet wall here, so we didn't have to go as high, so it's only going to be 45 feet, and this is 3 feet in terms of the enclosure. What you see is how this looks from the side view, and from the side view, this is the 14-foot setback. This is the side of the building. Both the side that faces towards Ricardo's and Mott Street and the side that faces towards the dog park are going to be very similar, which you'll see in a second. So now, this is the back and this is the other side, the difference being the number of windows on one side versus the other. This is the back of the building, so that addition on the top has its windows on that side, overlooking what is the Ricardo's property and the Gerasi property. Beyond it, as we said, full windows, full doors on the basement level because of the slope. So the basement has full exposure here. We have one more, I think. No, maybe that's it. All of these are in the packet. As I said, if you look at the first several pages, it's the existing condition. If you look at the pages to the rear of that, it's the proposed condition. And we have, Rich has been talking to his neighbors to see if we can flush out what were the old issues and if there are any new issues with this plan. We don't have dates yet for Board of Appeal or anything, but we've been on file, so we expect to hear fairly soon. I mean, the hearing won't be fairly soon, but we will be hearing about the hearing.
Yeah. Councilor, any questions?
What's the square footage of the
The existing units,
what are they,
The proposed.
the proposed?
595, 600 square feet.
that's the average floor plate. Mine, and then if you take out the staircase, the center staircase. For example, the upper addition area is, I have 150 square feet, and then minus the staircase. And the basement is a little larger. The basement area is about 400 square feet in the basement.
Any other council members?
So this is going to be one building?
Yes, it'll be treated as one file now. It was 2 separate files in the building department, even though it was owned by the same people in the past. So the common ownership, the buildings are identical and joined, so we're going to treat it as a 6-family building.
So how come you need the two stairwells?
They're existing, we just left them.
Okay.
But
And then you
it'll
get
be sprinkled.
full sprinkle?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone from the audience?
I was one of the residents a year and a half ago concerned about the proximity of the addition because we have 2 kids and literally it's 4 feet from where our kid's bedroom is. So Rich, I thank you for working with me on that. My question is regarding the roof deck. No plans at all for roof deck?
No.
Rock solid, it never,
If you saw it, there's actually
I
skylights.
saw that, which is
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
we hadn't seen that earlier, which is, I got that, but no plans. So with regard to access to the roof, is there gonna be an alarm system that notifies you if someone gets on it? Because we've seen people are buildings where roof decks not allowed, no roof access allowed, they go up for cigarettes, drink, that kind of thing.
No.
What plans do you have to notify yourself?
There'll be a crash door with an alarm on it.
Okay, so whenever time goes out,
Right.
after the fire.
If someone was to go out the door, it'd go off.
Okay.
But you don't have doors on the back of the building anyway.
No.
No, you'll end up with a hatch to
There'll be
allow
a
you
hatch.
access for repairs,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
There's no actual door.
Bill, did you say 47 and then you said 45? What's the total height of the building? With the addition?
Existing,
47?
it'll be 45, the reason for the 45 versus the 47 is they thought that it
Yeah.
would come off the actual height
Right.
of that parapet, but they're able to set it down to
So what, 47 down, 47 2 down to 45 too?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, with
The
the three,
plan says 47 on it, that's why we're pointing it out, but
But it says 45.
after they engineered it, it came to
Part
45.
of the top would be down into the building.
Got it.
that's not including the 3 foot for the.
Correct.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, so 3 foot for the.
Right.
Right.
On top of it.
Right.
It could potentially go on the lower, but
Yeah, we thought in doing the design, we didn't put it on the lower level where the skylights were because it just makes it closer to your side, but as Rich said,
Right.
if the preference is to remove this and put it on that lower level, it's just as easily done.
Seems like it'd be quieter where it is.
You know, it's-
Hatches, what was that hatch?
I'm sure, we haven't decided because we haven't, I got the whole layout of the inside, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be straight up or it's gonna come out this wall, but it'll be a closed door, no window. No, it's not. Once they lay out all the mechanical stuff, I mean, there wouldn't need to be one if it wasn't going up on the top.
Probably gonna be up the stairs.
It would probably be, I mean, it would have to be a door out onto the roof. But again, there'd be a crash bar on it, and there'd be no windows on it. But if this was the upstairs unit, or one that I would propose it, it would probably be at the top of the hallway where there's the bedroom and living room, there'd probably be a door straight out.
So it goes straight towards the,
Right. Right. But again, there'd be a crash bar on that that would sound, it's not to be used for any other than emergency, or if we would need to get on the roof to work on the units,
Right,
not for anybody to go hang out on.
yeah. Well, and thank you for.
Yeah,
That's your only access to the units up there.
right.
Anyone else from the audience have any questions for the petition? Yes, if you just don't mind stating your name. and your-
I'm Susan Barbieri Montgomery, and I'm, husband, I own one of the units in the abutting property, and we did come in and talk to you before. I actually have a couple of questions, so I'll try and be quick, but I don't want to surprise you by the fact that I have several. And I want to say at the outset what we said at the beginning last time. Our concerns have nothing to do with people who are involved, and I don't think zoning matters. It matters who owns the building or who's doing the property, because everybody knows that the purpose of zoning is to deal with the property over time, and ownership can change tomorrow, or change when the job is done. So it's no reflection on the people involved, as it was not before. This plan the plans for this building came through, and were similar in many ways. And you heard them, we had several visits with you, other organizations, and they went to the zoning appeal board, and they were denied. Okay, and so that was September of 2015, and we opposed. If you'd like, we can show you the letter we presented, and we argued there. So I thought when I got this the other day, that the best first thing to do would be to compare that plan that went before the board to the current plan. Because our concerns with that plan were increase in density, again, on a narrow alley, which you've nicely shown people, I appreciate that. And what that means in this neighborhood, which is what the zoning is concerned about. It's not that there isn't already a narrow alley, it isn't that there isn't already a building down there, but it's adding to that, the increase. And then there is an impact on our unit in particular. But so I compared the two of them, and one of the things that's changed is that a permit was issued early in the year to gut the building, and the building has been gutted. So whatever the existing drawings you've got here, I mean, that's not there anymore. Okay, so that has changed, although we do know from the past and from the representations that were made by council here and at the hearing that the building had at one point been zoned for 4 to 6 units, but there was no record that there were ever actually 6 units, or certainly no record of occupancy of 6 units. But it definitely had been zoned for a long period of time. The building's been empty. It's been essentially empty for a number of years. It's been empty for a number of years, essentially empty for a couple decades. So this is not, there hasn't been traffic down here. So it has been gutted since then. One of the things that the other plan was going to do, that this plan is going to do, is to take all of the HVAC type equipment out of the basement and put it on the roof, which frees up space in the basement and also creates added height right away, even if you aren't adding a floor, because you're now putting those units up and then putting some kind of sound and visual barrier. This plan proposes a new 4th floor. The other plan proposed a new 4th floor. This plan calls for an approximately 10-foot roof with then another approximately 4 feet. The drawings I had showed 4 feet, now you're saying maybe less. So I was working with what you gave, 14 feet up from the current roof line to the new top. And that's the same. That was what they were proposing when they went to the board. Their proposal had a 2-foot 6-inch setback on the alley side, the alley that separates the two buildings, and this one has a much bigger setback, 14 feet. Right? The 4th floor in the proposal that went up before the board that was denied, the 4th floor had 2 bedrooms and a full bath. This one, the 4th floor drawings show a bedroom, a full bath, and something called a living room. The other one was going to be proposed to be a condo. There's no condo proposal with this one as far as I can see. The other one had a total of 10 bedrooms, 4 in the basement, 2 and 2, right? This one, counting on the drawings, and I just recounted, has 14 bedrooms, plus a basement that has a full bath, including a shower, and it's called a family room, right? And it's a full open space. If that gets used as a bedroom, we're already 4 bedrooms more than what was turned down, so up to 14. If that got turned into bedrooms, then we'd be up to 18. And if the living room on the 2nd floor got turned into a bedroom, now we're up to 19. So even if none of those things happen, the proposal is still 4 more bedrooms than the one that we saw before, with the increase in density and all the problems with the narrow alley, with nowhere for trash, traffic, foot traffic, parking. I mean, as it is, the 2 barrels that appear there for trash day every night cover the entire curb length of the width of the alleyway. So all the trash for these units, 6 units, however many bedrooms they have, is going to go I don't know where. In front of us or in front of the restaurant, I don't know. But the foot traffic, the increase in trying to get in and out of your car, trying to unload your groceries, load your car, it's all a problem now, it's all increased. And the zoning was intended for groups like this to look very seriously at. And frankly, we live in a building that had a floor added to it before the zoning went in. I get that. But at some point, the neighborhood and the city said, we have to be really careful about increases. And that's what this is here. This is doing. Whoever owns it. So the concern, we have the same concerns. We're very, very concerned about all the ramifications of the increase in density. We are concerned about precedent because, of course, if you no opposition to this, and how about the next building that wants to have a floor in the next building? I know you face that all the time.
Can I ask you a question?
And we're very concerned about the impact on our property, which I haven't mentioned yet. So the impact on our property is this. We have the roof of the buildings right now is it's close to our floor line. It's not the same, but it's close enough for purposes. In every single room on our unit goes all the way down that side of the building. Every single room in it has a 3-foot by 5-foot window that faces out that is unobstructed. All right? We have a view, we have daylight, we have direct sunlight, we have heat in the winter from that. We can open the windows if we don't mind the noise, and we can get a breeze. It makes a big impact on our property to get rid of that. And I tried to think of a way to explain that simply. So I took a couple pictures just Friday, right? One will show you sort of a version. I'll show you first so you can see what I'm showing you.
Sure.
One shows how close our bedroom and with the fire escape comes to be nearly touching the other building. You're right about the alley, but up above, when you add the fire escapes, they're actually even closer. I think it's 20 inches apart. So they really are quite close. This one shows the view now from our bedroom. It's a little messy because they're working on the roof, okay? So this one shows the view now. And I was working with 14 feet, not 13 something. But if you put that up, it completely blocks it. I ran out of black marker, but it completely blocks the view. This one shows the view looking out the same window. I just turned my camera a little bit this way, so you can see where the sun is coming through right now. And this is what it would be like if it was up. And this one is a little better. This one I took from the kitchen and I angled it north. So I'm not looking straight up, angled it north. So I'm really looking almost over the restaurant, almost not involving the building. But even then, you can see where it does continue to block.
Thank you. I think we're just approaching a little bit, we understand the concerns. I don't know if the council or Joe would like to address anything.
Let me do a few.
Just briefly, please.
Briefly. First, condensers cannot be put inside the building. Those have to be outside the building, have to be able to draw from fresh air, etc. So you can't put those, the only thing going up there, condensers. You saw we have mechanical works for all the mechanicals. The other part of that is when you're talking about increased density, my point is this, we told you, 2 more bedrooms is the increase. If you think that we live in a city where we, or the city, or the building department advocates to have 6 vacant, deserted units sit there so that that alleyway isn't used, which is not used, as a matter of fact, by 187, 189, except for emergency egress. And again, you would think it would be complimentary that they would want to use for safety purposes. There were complaints in the past that people were breaking into the building and potentially living in the building, etc. So when you talk about density, the reality of density is that those buildings would be occupied, they should be occupied, and they can be occupied. We're asking that they be occupied in what we think is a reasonable fashion by adding some square footage to 2 of the units that are rather small. So we're not inventing 6 units. The 6 units have been there, and they, as a matter of fact, if you look at the record, they have been classified as 2 3-unit buildings by the city in their review of it, and they have issued the permit for the renovation of them, etc. So we're here for the reason of using the basement and adding a partial floor to the roof. So my answer to that is the practicality as far as this thought process that it's more traffic and more people, etc. It's the same number of units. Yes, it is 2 more bedrooms. Most people in this room know we scrape and take every square inch of space that we can use in this neighborhood. You make it livable space so that when you have a small apartment, you use the space under the staircase and you use everything else you can find in the apartment. So with regard to mock-ups and drawings, the reason for setting it back 14 feet is to gauge that is you're bringing it back some distance from where you're sitting to here away so that in fact you can see over it. And as we said, we can take that piece off the top where the condensers are if the consensus is that it's better placed on that lower level. That's not an issue for us by lowering that 3 feet that we said that we would add for the enclosure. It will be on the lower level, and again, be against that back wall anyway.
Okay.
So those are my best answers.
I just wanted to make a point, when you buy a piece of property in the neighborhood and there's a building that is adjacent to you, like 24 inches, 24 feet, 2 feet, whatever it is, You have to, I mean, unless you bought the piece of property thinking that nobody was gonna move in there, nobody was gonna do anything with it, and you'd rather have it empty. I lived next to an empty building, I said that the last time you presented at the meeting, but we had a fire which almost killed my children in the building, okay? So, when you're when you have that proximity, having somebody who's gonna come over, invest their money in the property, put a sprinkler system on it, bring it up to code, make it safer, okay? Where you bought your condo next door with that building there, you know what I mean? You have to realize that neighbors make concessions to the neighbors, and back and forth.
Never- we are not objecting to occupancy.
But you know,
We
from what I
didn't
heard.
object to
No,
being
but I'm
occupied.
listening to you, I'm listening to you. And last time it didn't fit the bill. This time with a complete change doesn't fit the bill. What would you like there? A park? There's not gonna be a park there unless the city buys it. Okay, somebody bought the property, the same way that the folks that developed the property that you live in, which I was looking to buy in the 80s, went for $70,000, did not have windows, did not have bay windows, and they have an addition to the top. You have, your building actually has bay windows that come out into public land, which you have no right to.
I
Okay,
understand.
and nobody's, you know, we could all say, all right, let's make a vote, not a problem, we'll handicap this man as much as we can, and then we'll handicap you. You know, we live in a community where buildings are right next to each other. Anybody who comes and buys a condominium or an apartment or a building in the North End and thinks that the building next door is gonna move 30 feet, is out of their mind. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, you look at what you have now, you look at what you're gonna have in front of it then, and you say to yourself, thank God that somebody's gonna be looking after that piece of property that is not only an eyesore, but is a danger to all of us.
I'll answer your question. What would I like? I'd like to see the building occupied, the building as it exists. Just as I bought, knowing it was there and knowing what it was, they bought, and they bought, knowing this had been denied.
But you know what, I agree with you completely, but you
Occupy
know
the
what,
building
but
the
you
way
know
it
what,
is.
but you know what, if you had such interest in what we're doing in that property, you take out a mortgage, you buy it, and you do it yourself. In the meantime, somebody else is doing it, okay? The building next door to my house sold, the one that went on fire. I was one of the people bidding on it. The gentleman that bought it is a gentleman, he's doing the right thing, he's made some additions, he's made some changes. We came up to a consensus of what worked, and we let him do his work, all right? If you don't want something next to you in a certain fashion, buy it and develop it yourself, okay?
But I
you
don't
can't,
mind
but
that.
you cannot come to a meeting every time that somebody comes over, you know what I mean? With the standard is never high enough for you. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, these folks
Fine,
bought the
yeah.
property, they're gonna develop it, they should develop it the same way that your property that you bought a condominium at was developed. There's a lot of us in the neighborhood that don't like condo associations. We have them everywhere. What are we doing? Are we taking pitchforks out and complaining? No, we're not. You know what I mean? And in this case, this gentleman, who's from the community, he's your neighbor on top of it. If there's an issue, you go and knock on his door, he's there 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Hey, become a good neighbor, get to know him, so you can work together to a better future for the little area. And that's that. You know what I mean? It's that simple. You can't continue to come and complain. Buy the property yourself. But make him an offer. Turn it into whatever you want.
I think we've heard from both sides to be able to formulate a motion to vote unless anyone else has
I have one more-
additional information that wasn't discussed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, hear what they have.
Can I just
Could
hear
you tell me
from,
what the?
can I hear from Victor first,
Oh,
just as a,
Yeah, Victor Bronny, I live on Atlantic Avenue, which is a few blocks away, but I just, to help me understand the drawings, please look at proposed fourth floor, drawing A 1.3. It looks to me as though there are windows on both sides. And if I'm interpreting anything correctly, please tell me. It's proposed fourth floor, drawing A.
There are windows towards Knott Street and Dock.
And there'd be a door coming out of the building where they do this access. There would be a door here and here. This is the dog park, and this is over there.
Oh, okay, I thought there was only one window on the fourth floor.
There is a window on one and two on the other, and then there's windows across the back.
Oh, okay, I mean, if it's agreed by the others.
just the last, if you have some
Okay.
additional information.
One of the things we usually hear is where you would see the zoning and why you have to go to the Board of Appeals.
Oh, that's the handout you should have on your table.
Thank you.
Give you another one if you don't have one.
Yeah, I have it.
What's the new floor to air ratio? No, it doesn't say what the new
It doesn't
floor,
say.
doesn't say what the new floor area ratio is.
I don't know that would, we'll get that calculation from the architect if you like. The building area is 3.0 for the area of the north end. This will be in excess, but it won't be currently in excess because the building's only a 3-story building. So when you take,
So probably close to 4.
will it be close to 4?
Yeah, be close to 4, because you got 3 stories now, and then you're gonna have a half story in the top and a half story in the bottom.
Well, you take the utilities out, et cetera.
Right,
You
yeah.
take your staircase out, et cetera. Probably, it'll be under 4. It'll be under 4.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say, I know things like software cost a lot of money, and appreciate the effort to make, like, that kind of thing.
For aesthetics. All right.
Hey, John, who's that? I was just gonna say, and I love my neighbors, but I also, and I understand the opposition to this building, I get it. But from my own perspective, I do appreciate Richie working with the building. He didn't have to go back 14 feet, he did. And the difference is, one of the big differences that we're not talking about with City Realty a year and a half ago was these guys have a reputation of absentee landlords. And Richie works at the restaurant, he's there every night, and that's a big difference that we didn't get last time. So, you know, yeah, and it's.
Thank you. So I think, can I just do the vote? Okay. So I don't think we've heard both sides. I think we've heard everything we need to in order to take a vote on this. So I'd ask the council to do that. And then thank you. We'll read the results at the end of this meeting.